How to tap into the divine collective intelligence. They always say that there's an intelligence out there. Whether you believe it or not, we were brought into this world by something that was far greater than our power. And actually, the next significant moment is the moment we are taken away from this world. It's kind of out of our choice as well, and in something else's power. So we can't really deny that something else exists out there. And that collective intelligence, why I call it that, is because if you really think about it, every thought that we have, every idea that we have, every innovation or any idea from a scientist, where does all of this actually come from? We say it comes from the mind, but then where are we, or where is anything else? And where does it really come from? So in this video, I'm gonna break it all down for you and let you know how you can raise your vibrational frequency so high to actually tap into that thing that is greater than yourself. And when you do, it will change your life because you will have a lot more control. Or maybe at that time, you don't even need the control anymore because you kind of see everything. But before I get into it, show reel. Hit it. What's up guys, this is Erico here, international speaker, entrepreneur, and best-selling author. And in this video, I'm going to break down for you how you can raise your vibrations and tap into the divine, or tap into the universe, or God, or whatever you may call it. And you know, I'm not so, I guess, biased in terms of, say, what religion. A lot of people say, Eric, is this religion you're talking about, or that religion you're talking about? You name it, whatever you want to name it. There's just one thing I come to agreement with all religions, is that there is something greater than us. And I think there's not any way that we can actually deny that. A lot of like scientific, logical minded people would like argue and say, no, there isn't, it's all just science. And they'll call it the Big Bang that created us. And if you want to call it the Big Bang, call it that. But you can't deny that the Big Bang has more power over you. So let's just stick with that for now. But one thing that I came to realization, and it was actually the more I was speaking on stage around the world, the more I figured this out. While speaking on stage, a lot of the time, what I used to find and what I used to experience was sometimes in moments I would say a whole riff of sentences, and then suddenly I would be like, wow, where did that come from? Sometimes I would go off stage. Now this is how weird it is. Sometimes I would go off stage and then I'll tell my friend or my business partners, I'll say, wow, that was really good content, wasn't it? And they say, are you talking about your own content? And while I became more and more aware of this physical form and this spiritual being inside this physical form, and then something actually greater than that, that channels through us, I started to realize actually every single time I have that type of experience, I can actually feel myself, witnessing myself deliver that content. So just to put that into a little bit more clarity for you. So while I'm on stage, if I'm speaking away, what will happen is, oh, by the way, I'm in Bangalore here, right? But this is the final day of Wealth Accelerator Live. So we're on day 3. We're just about to head to the venue and get on stage. But anyway, let's get back into it. So when I'm on stage, what actually happens is I talk, and I don't like going off a plan, because off a conscious plan, we can't really tap into that subconscious or unconscious flow state, because that's the channel that comes from the divine into subconscious flow, and then out you become that vessel. I think in Bible terms you call it a vessel of God, right? And so how do you actually tap into such a source? Because when you do, let me tell you something, you don't really have many problems or challenges, because you kind of very quickly find the answer to every challenge, because actually all the answers are out there already. And it's so, like, to some people, this whole context is really weird. But just to put it into an even better context for you, I met a yogi master. His name's Akshar. Some of you who are based in India, you probably heard of him before. It's called Akshar Yoga. So Akshar's a good friend of mine. He's a brother of mine now. And we meet up a lot, and what he actually talks about is he talks about how he, in the Himalayan mountains, that's where he grew up, a real yogi, and while training, a lot of this marketing tools, because he has the biggest yoga franchise in the whole of India, a lot of these marketing tools, business tools, he actually learned in the forest, in the mountains out in the Himalayas, believe it or not. Now you think, how can you learn the most like technical stuff or the most even up-to-date stuff in the forest? But if you think of it this way, right? A lot of people have been going to see me live at different shows. By the way, I just want to say another thing as well. Those of you who are in Taiwan, Taipei, I'm actually going to be there. I'm going to be speaking there in a couple of days' time. So I'm flying there tomorrow from Bangalore, right? And so if you're in around Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, anywhere nearby, Hong Kong, and you want to come see me, get a short flight to Taiwan and I'll see you there. Just drop me a message if you want tickets for it, by the way. And so another thing, right? So when he talks about that collective intelligence, a lot of people, when they actually come see me at different events, they see that I actually speak on the topic of franchising, on the topic of Facebook marketing, on the topic of business, on this topic of IPO, investments. I talk about property. I can talk about coaching. I can talk about events, relationships, spirituality. And people say, Eric, where do you get this information from? You must do a lot of reading. And I want to share with you like a secret here, because I'm kind of dyslexic. So with reading and writing, I'm not so good at that stuff. So actually, I don't actually read that much, which is kind of bizarre, because every single time I get into and access that flow state, what channels through me, I learn from the divine. And anyone can tap into this thing too, as long as you have these few things. So I'm going to break it down for you. So the first thing is, obviously, a lot of the time, as the same as manifestation and everything else I talk about in law of attraction, is your alignment to the universe. So I think breathing is the base foundation of it as well. So everyone take a deep breath in with me now. And out. You know, a lot of the things is about awareness. So you need to first become more aware of subtle differences of energy, because if you don't, you cannot be aware of the message that is channeled through you from the divine. The thing is, because our logical brain, or our non-logical brain that has been programmed by society, kind of like fights with this intuition or this message from the divine, because you sometimes get this gut feeling, or sometimes I like to call it God feeling, and then your logical brain kind of battles it. But that feeling, how do we know which one's the logical brain, which one's the idea, which one's the divine idea, which one's my logical brain? And it gets a bit confusing. But actually, it's a very, very subtle difference. But you get more in touch with it if you start recognizing the subtle difference. So I want you to do this. Notice the noise in your head right now while listening to this video. Then I'd like you to do this. Take a deep breath in with me now. And out. I want you now to notice a subtle change in that energy. Can you hear a little bit more? Are you aware a little bit more? Now do this. Second breath. Deep breath in. And out. Now, are you noticing more? Are you noticing aircon noise or noises outside? Here in Bangalore, it'll be beeping noises, the horn. So are you noticing more? Now, if you're noticing more, then that's that subtle difference. That's a subtle energy shift. Okay, that's a good start for you. Now, the more you breathe, the more peaceful you become, the more calm your mind is, the less noise you have, the more you are in channel with the divine. If you look at the vibrational frequency chart, peace is one of the highest frequencies, meaning you are most connected. So at peace, now what do? We need to relax. Keep breathing. We need to be in our most relaxed state. We need to Make sure to get all these notes down, by the way, so that you actually reaffirm the learning. So you can comment this below as well if that makes it easier for you. So make sure you let go of any expectation, because if you're thinking, what's the message from the divine? Speak to me now. Speak to me, universe. Speak to me, God. It's that's gonna get you more confused and frustrated, okay? So let go of expectation. Take a deep breath in. Let go of expectation. No expectation. It's okay. So what a lot of the time before I go on stage, I actually just breathe. I don't have a script. I don't have a timeline. I don't have anything. I just say, before I go on stage, when they're about to announce their recall, I breathe, I calm. And then I just say, universe, God, I have full trust in you. You have the greatest power. You created me. Your power is way beyond me. Use me. I trust you. And the biggest thing is, if I step on stage, and a lot of people, if you're in a very, let's say you've got a lot of pressure in a situation environment, then you're probably thinking, shit, give me the answer now, you know? But instead of doing that, stay calm, because that's full trust in the universe. That's why it takes practice to do this. And you have that full trust in the universe, then just say, use me. And then what do you follow? You follow your good feeling. And sometimes it takes a few moments before I can get into that flow state. So how do you actually get into the flow state? Stay at love, joy, and peace. Meaning laugh, smile. So when I go on the stage, I laugh, I smile. Because all of this love, joy, peace is the highest vibrational frequencies. And then talk to people. If you talk to people with a love, joy, and peace, and then you speak in this vibrational frequency, and what will happen is, suddenly you'll say something, and you'll be like, whoa, where'd that come from? That came from the divine. And so, if you have some questions right now that you want answers to, keep breathing, stay in alignment, just smile, relax. Relax. Any stress, it's probably a stress or worry you have, that's a problem you have that you want to answer to. Relax. When you relax and you breathe, then just say, what would I do in this situation? And make sure to keep your mind in solution focus, positivity orientated. Don't focus on the negative and the problems. If there's a problem, always think, what is the solution right now? What could I possibly do? And just be in that place of peace and love, and then just allow whatever good feeling comes to you. Maybe I can do that. And let me tell you something. Sometimes your logical brain will try to battle that thing and say, no, that's not logical. Let it exit. Your logical is not so logical because it's programming from other people. Get rid of it. Trust that feeling, because you were in such good feeling. Trust it. And just step into it anyway. Whatever thought came through, step into it and do that thing anyway. Now, it takes a lot of courage to take that step. But when you do take that step, let me tell you, you'll come to one realization. That it takes you to magical places, everything else unfolds in front of you. Then you realize, wow, I've actually felt this intelligence, the divine before, except I've been blocking it and not listening to it. Guys, test it out, try it out, practice it. Let me know how you get on, comment below, let us know. And also, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, or if you learned anything whatsoever or got inspired whatsoever about this, then give it a thumbs up. And finally, if you're new to this channel, remember, if you've not already, hit that subscribe button and the notifications button next year, because this year I'm dedicated to making daily videos to hold you accountable to make 2018 your best year yet. But for now, guys, I gotta head off to stage, so ciao.